I think there'll always be people who want to put more effort into things.
Like, for example?
Well, there's a lot of just, you know, bad quiz shows and bad talk shows that are exploiting people, and there's a very cheap entertainment, and with something like the television, it's on 24 hours a day. So is there really 24 hours worth of good stuff? Probably not, but they've got to fill it, and that's their job. And as I say, it becomes more like a job to tick a box, whereas there's some great TV, you know, like Mad Men from the US, or The Sopranos, or The Wire, things that will stand the test of time and are as good as any film, as good as any piece of music. You know, they're amazing things. And so I would never say, you know, TV is disposable, waste of time, because there are good people who want to make good things. But there is undoubtedly a lot of rubbish.
Yeah. Well, Margins was written over a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
When was the first time you started keeping songs to yourself?
Well, the first song that I recorded was While You're in the Bath, and I recorded that like 5 years ago, and the same recording ends up on the album because I just liked it that much. I thought, I'm not going to do it any better. You know, there's a few mistakes on the guitar, but there always will be, unless you go back and tape it all together. And I played that to the rest of the guys in Maximo Park, and they were like, well, where does this fit? And I was like, well, maybe it could fit on the end of an album one day, and it just got sort of forgotten about. And that's the thing when you're working on loads of songs, you kind of, the things that people don't go, yeah, it's amazing, you kind of forget about them sometimes. And you know, I had this song, and then I had another one and another one that I'd record. I just went round to my friend's house to record things, and the thing is, it wasn't really premeditated. I went round to just record a demo of this, like The Crush and the Shatter was the second song that I recorded, and that's when, after the day of recording that song, I realised that I had a different sound to Maximo Park. You know, the stuff that I was doing with me on the guitar and my guitar sound, which I didn't really know what it was. You know, we were just sort of coming up with things in my mate's house, and I was like, that's a cool guitar sound, let's stick with that. And then he said, can I play drums on it? I really want to play, you know, I can hear a part. So he played on it, and sure enough, I had this song by the end of the day that, you know, I did a little bit of a bass part that wasn't very good in the end. But that original recording again goes on the album, and 3 years later or whatever it was, that's when I asked my friend David Brewis from Field Music to put the bass on the record, and he sort of added an extra dimension to it. And that's when I suppose at Christmas time this year, when I came to put bass on the tracks that needed it on 6 or 7 of the songs, it suddenly felt like, right, this is an album. It doesn't sound like Maximo Park. Obviously, still me singing, and I still talk about the things that I like to talk about in songs and whatever. But I didn't need anybody else. That was the thing. It wasn't like I didn't think, you know, it's time to bring this to the guys in Maximo Park as a demo, because I thought it doesn't sound like a demo. It sounds like one of the albums that I've grown up with. Just an album that was recorded on the spur of the moment for the love of it.
Was there some sort of jury besides you and perhaps the guy you work with?
Yeah, my friends heard a few of the songs, and they were like, you've got to put this out. And I mean, friends from Field Music, who I respect their opinion anyway about music, because I love their band, and they were saying, just put it out. Don't think too much about it. And once people that you respect, like your friends, and as I say, people in other bands. I mean, I'd only played it to sort of 6 or 7 people, but they were all totally. They sort of fell in love with the songs, and you know, I put them on a CD for some people, and they were saying, what are you going to do with these songs? And I'd reached a point where I ended up with sort of 12 or 13 of them, and I thought, now is the time to put it out. You know, there's a nice gap between the next Maximo Park record and the third one. It felt like I'd sort of done as much as I could in Maximo Park for the time being, without feeling frustrated. You know, it felt like it's a good time. You know, this is the time to do it, and it's nice to have other opinions. But I also like the fact that nobody told me what to do. You know, in Maximo Park, it's always, you know, I'll say to archers, you know, can you change this bass part? And, you know, Tom might say to me, I'm not sure about that vocal melody. And it's this interaction and this collaboration, which obviously I enjoy, but I mean, we all like to do things by ourselves sometimes, and that was cool, just sort of coming up with your own decisions and saying, I'm going to stand by that. That's my kind of middle eight. Nobody else in the world would come up with that, you know.